8:15 Eastern, ABC, ESPN TV, and ESPN2. ESPN's Todd Archer reports Gallup will be inactive tonight. His return from a torn ACL will wait one more week. The Buccaneers now have some company as the co-favorites to win the NFC at Caesars Sportsbook. The Eagles, Sportsbook listing them at both plus 360 odds. Tampa and Philly now tied with the third shortest odds to win the Super Bowl as well, behind Buffalo and Kansas City. Despite losing to the Dolphins yesterday, the 2-1 Bills still tops in the league, believes ESPN's Rex Ryan.
The Buffalo Bills are clearly the best team, and not only in the East, but in the entire league. Look, this team got destroyed in the game everywhere but the scoreboard.
Right.
And when I look at this, they had 200 yards of total offense.
Miami did.
Miami did. Mm-hmm. That's right, with 6 starters out on the Buffalo Bills defense.
From ESPN's Adam Schefter, Chargers left tackle Rashawn Slater expected to miss the rest of the season with a torn left biceps tendon. It is a significant loss for an LA team dealing with several other injuries.
As the leagues change, leave the hiring to Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates, all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Off we go. Week's off to a rip-roaring start. All right, let's get it. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Well, you already know Muse is here. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Muse, you good? Good? Good weekend?
Yes. Good. Somebody switched a few pots up on this board over here. Flipped a few of them there, Matt.
Somebody switched a few pots on the board.
Moved my internet PC and my Adobe PC.
Somebody moved my internet PC and my Adobe PC.
That's what happened.
That's what happened excuse.
Fix that up real quick here.
Fix that up real quick right here. Feeling good on a Monday. Glad you're in with us. Cole Cubelic next hour. We'll get to the Saints in about 15 minutes. I know there is a general melt about the time of the Tennessee game. Got that news early this morning, and that really sucks, but we'll talk about it. I understand why ESPN. So I will get to it and explain why ESPN made the decision they did, and really why CBS made the decision they did. I don't like it, but I understand why. We'll get at all that coming up next hour. Okay, all right, let's start with LSU. Tigers beat New Mexico 38-0. A game that needn't be eventful, wasn't eventful. There were some things, some changes, but I think the overall thesis coming out of this game has to be, inarguably, over the 4 weeks that we have seen, or the 4 games we have seen this football team, they have unquestionably improved. And a lot of it is this coaching staff figuring out its team as they move along, but they have undoubtedly improved in areas across the board. That does not mean they are perfect, and I do not want to overvalue wins over Southern, Mississippi State, and New Mexico. Because if you do that, then you get an inflated sense of self-worth in what you think this team is or could be, and you're going to be disappointed. As a matter of fact, Brian Kelly did say today when he met with reporters that, look, there's going to be good times, there's going to be bad times coming up down the road. We'll get to plenty of what Brian Kelly had to say. But he's right. I mean, you're a team that is certainly improving. But you're also a team that struggles to run the football. You're a team that continues to have issues with special teams. You're a team that's had to battle some injuries now as well. And you continue to have self-inflicted wounds in the red zone. So there's a lot of that. But even with all of that, 38-0. Y'all, the biggest takeaway from this game has got to be the defense. Coming out of spring, my two big takeaways were, one, Jaden Daniels was going to be the quarterback. Two, the defense was better than I thought. And so far, Jaden Daniels has been the quarterback. And look, I'm telling you, if you ask me my two big takeaways, it was it. And clearly, the defense is even better than I thought they would be. I don't care who you play. You shut a team out, hold them to 2 first downs and 88 yards of total offense. That's dominant. And that's without Major Burns and B.J. Ojulari. I mean, it's massively impressive what they were able to do defensively on Saturday night against New Mexico. And that's one of the reasons why you keep playing defensively that way. That defense is going to keep you in almost every game you play and give you a chance to win almost every game you play. A couple of takeaways from the game itself. We did get to see, because of the opponent and circumstance, some changes. Harold Perkins got a start, and he looks awesome. I mean, Harold Perkins in that ball game was your leading tackler with 8. He continues to impress because of the offense New Mexico ran, the kind of like option out of the pistol. LSU ran a more traditional 4-3. You had Jones, Penn, and Perkins all on the field to start. So you've seen Perkins now start inside and outside, and he just continues to flash all over the field, which is so encouraging to see. We got to see Sevyn Banks for the first time in his LSU career. Richardson and Jark Bernard-Converse started, but by the second series, Sevyn Banks was on the field, playing at the right cornerback spot, and looked good. It was good to see number one get out there and run around and give you more depth at the cornerback spot. Jack Besh is clearly your new punt returner. He returned one for a touchdown, which was negated by penalty, as we all well saw. But that's a sure-handed guy that's also explosive enough to make plays. We saw Chris Hilton. LSU only got to return one kickoff in the game. It was the opening kickoff of the second half, but that was Chris Hilton who got to do the honors. You want to talk about a guy that has legit track speed, game-breaking potential. Chris Hilton is one of those guys, but in a log jam at receiver, it's been hard to get him targets. Well, this is a good way to get him the ball in his hands. So they're finding ways to get guys involved. Anthony Bradford was back at right guard and started, so I think it's safe to say now you've got your starting 5 on the offensive line with Campbell, Dellinger, Turner, Bradford, and Emory Jones, barring injury, which we hope we don't see. It seems like they're good with that being their first 5 moving forward. You know, both the young tackles played really well for the second consecutive game. We got to see Garrett Nussmeier for an extended period in the second half when LSU was up 17-0, and I'll get into some of the game in just a second, what is relevant. But LSU's up 17-0. It's their second possession of the second half. LSU's facing a 4th and 3 from their own 45. Jaden Daniels runs for 16 yards. And really, it was a play where he could have gotten 3 yards and gone down, but he fought through some contact and tried to gain more yardage. He ultimately got slung to the ground, and as Brian Kelly explained, had sort of a lower back aggravation. Left the game. Garrett Nussmeier came in. Daniels was cleared to return, but at that point, as Brian Kelly said, there was no point putting him back out there. So I thought Nussmeier in this game exercised some of the, I don't want to say demons, but of the poor play against Southern. Nussmeier was 9 of 10 for 135 yards and a score. The score and 57 of those yards came on a screen pass to Brian Thomas that he took to the house, which continues to illustrate why you've got to continue feeding the ball to Brian Thomas. He is just a physical guy who has a dynamic skill set. If you need him to get tough yardage with strong hands, he can do it. If you need him to go over the middle, he can do it. If you need him to make a play in space and be a game breaker, he can do that as well. So, man, you didn't have Kayshon Boutte, but you still continue to distribute the ball. Thomas, Neighbors, Jenkins, Hilton, Besh, Lacey, Mason Taylor, Josh Williams, Cole Taylor, Armani Goodwin, 10 players in all caught a pass on Saturday. They are finding ways to get a lot of different players involved, which is fantastic to see. You may not have the one guy with 80 catches and 1,200 yards, but what you are going to have is a lot of guys get involved, and that's really good to see because at any given day or moment on a given game, there's a lot of different guys on the field that can beat you or that can help you. If you're LSU, they can help you win a game. The sequence that was in the second quarter is really where the game changed. LSU was up only 10-0. They got into a 3rd and 6 situation at the 14-yard line earlier in the game. It was a miscommunication where it looked like Jaden Daniels expected Malik Neighbors to sit in the zone, and he was open. Neighbors continued the route. It was incomplete. Same thing happened last week with Mason Taylor. You hope you get those things ironed out. But LSU makes a field goal to go up 10-0. The next drive was just that was where you had Jack Besh's 76-yard punt return negated by penalty, which was a terrible rule, but a good call based on the verbiage of the rule. I would compare it similarly to how I feel about targeting. The spirit of the rule is good. You're trying to eliminate dangerous plays, but what happened on that punt return should not have been flagged for 15 yards. But by the letter of the rule, it was a good call. But you went tempo. You get down into a goal-to-go situation after Daniels runs on 3rd and 4. They get the personal foul for the late hit out of bounds. LSU's in a goal-to-go situation. Josh Williams runs for 9 yards. You should have second goal from the 1. Instead, holding on Cole Taylor. So you're back to the 19. You throw a 10-yard pass to Besh. Then Taylor gets in the end zone, but it's a PI on Malik Neighbors. Then you take a sack. It's 3rd and goal from the 32. You get 11 yards. You line up for a 38-yard field goal, and you miss it. That was a dreadful scenario. And it's one of those situations where you're in a game and you're going, okay, LSU has dominated this game, but you're one scoop and score, pick six, some busted coverage away from being in a 10-7 ballgame. And that's the recipe to be in a tight game with a team that has no business being in a tight game. But to the defense's credit, they came out, they get the stop, offense gets the ball back, and they go on a 15-play, 88-yard drive that chews up almost 6 minutes. And ultimately, Armani Goodwin got in. On that drive, LSU converted a 4th and 1, and Josh Williams went for 13 yards. They converted a 3rd and 4 to Jeray Jenkins for 16 yards, and a 3rd and 7 to Jeray Jenkins for 19 yards, and then ultimately scored on 3rd and goal. So they converted a 4th and 1 and 1, 2, 3 third downs on that drive. So, man, it was that was impressive. It got you up 17-0, and then you never really looked back in the second half. So all things considered, you got a lot of guys work. You continue to improve in areas where you needed to. You got more young guys' experience, and you could feel this team starting to build a little bit of confidence as they've now won 3 in a row after a disappointing start against Florida State. And now, for the first time all season, they'll get on a plane, and they'll go on the road to take on Auburn. First road conference game of the season. And Tigers have a great opportunity, as I don't know if you've noticed, but that game opened at 7.5. LSU 7.5. It's up to 9 as of right now at 3:13 Central Time on a Monday, and it probably will continue to climb. So, LSU is going to be a big road favorite against an Auburn team that is floundering right now. A lot to do this week, as we'll talk about all of it. But a lot to do today as well. We will get into a lot of the injuries as Brian Kelly updated a lot of those when he met with the media today. And it was interesting listening to Brian Kelly talk about how proud he is of this team for the way that they've sort of bought in and come together. So we'll get into a lot of that today, and we will talk about LSU and Tennessee. The kick time is going to be 11 a.m. in Tiger Stadium a week from Saturday. We'll get to all of that. All right, we'll knock out a quick break. To the not so good this weekend, of course, was the Saints taking it on the chin against Carolina. We'll recap that game and talk about where the Saints' lot is right now in the NFL. That's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. If you're thinking about selling your home, but you're thinking, man, I'll just do it by owner because I just don't want to pay a realtor commission to sell my house. I have a solution. Call Darren James. Darren has a buy one, list one free program. It's exactly what it sounds like. Buy one, list one free. If you hire Darren James, let's say you want to sell your house and move into a new house. If you hire Darren to represent you on the purchase side of your new home, he will list your home for free. Remember, Darren's commission will come on the sell side or on the purchase side from the seller. So that means you can hire Darren James for both sides of your transaction to buy your new home and sell your existing home and not pay a commission. Call Darren James right now. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real real estate, think Darren James.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
A gutsy performance by Jameis Winston. Not enough as the Carolina Panthers get their first win of the season and their first win in more than a year at home. Let's go to the studio in L.A.
The ball being the most important thing. You know, and we did not play well in the first half. The turnover was a big play in the game. Obviously, the 2 missed field goals were big plays in the game. That's 13 points. You know, we get back into the game and you know, give up the explosive pass, miss a tackle, and the game was, you know, kind of out of hand at that point in time. But look, our guys fought, our guys competed. You know, we had some guys go down, some guys step up, but we're going to have to regroup. We're going to have to play better.
Dennis Allen after the Saints fall in Carolina 22-14. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. 288-8138. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. It was what a disappointing loss for the New Orleans Saints. A lot of you checked on me on Sunday to see if I had a voice. Rest assured, when expectations are lowered, the disappointment level is lowered. Didn't have great expectations for the Saints in this game. They got routed in Carolina a year ago. Was certainly confident in the Saints' defense against that Carolina offense. They did play well defensively, save one play. and maybe 2, but it converted a 3rd and 14. But the screen pass to Chenault that he housed was just a backbreaker after you had gotten yourself back in the game. But the defense played well. The offense, same old song and dance. You are 3 games in now, and without the fourth quarter against Atlanta, your offense is just woeful. All 14 points yesterday came in the fourth quarter as well, and the Saints are moving the ball in the fourth quarter, but they're digging themselves too deep of a hole right now because of the offense's inability throughout the course of the game. And maybe the most disappointing part about that loss is what happened in Tampa. We talked about it last week, all of the struggles that Tampa has had offensively, and then you take Mike Evans off the field, in comes Green Bay. Green Bay was able to beat Tampa, and the Saints beat Carolina. You're 2-1. Now, obviously Tampa's got the head-to-head, but you maintain pace with them in the division. And instead, you lose to Carolina, you fall to 1-2. That's 2 division losses on a day when Tampa lost to Green Bay. Just a lot on the line yesterday. It's early in the season. It's only week 3. But there was a lot on the line in that game in Carolina. And so many of your self-inflicted wounds cost you. The big picture is, no, a loss to Carolina, falling to 1-2, does not end your season. Okay? I think most people probably know the statistic. If you start 0-2, there's a less than 10% chance of making the playoffs. It's weird, but honestly, your odds of making the playoffs at 0-2 are less than your odds of making the playoffs at 0-3. So that's bizarre, I know, but the teams that start 0-2, you've got a less than 10% chance of making the playoffs. So the fact that the Saints are already at 1-2, it's not panic time. I mean, you can look around the league and see a lot of good teams that are sitting at 1-2. The Bengals are 1-2. Do you think anybody in Cincinnati is panicking? That's a good football team that was in the Super Bowl a year ago. They lost a couple of close games, early games they could have won, and they'll likely get back on track. The Tennessee Titans, I mean, they're the reigning 1 seed in the AFC. They started 1-2. You get it. So I'm not going to freak out over the Saints being 1-2, but it's how you looked in the 1-2 start that's really concerning, because you can see what's ahead and see how things can start to unravel if you don't right this ship very quickly. One of the things that we talked about when we looked at the Saints schedule was, hey, look, you've got to get off to a good start, and you've got to come through those first 5 games, meaning when you get back from London against Seattle, you got to get through your first 5 games with a winning record, because look at what's ahead. You're home against Cincinnati. Short week, you're at Arizona. Thursday Night Football. I don't care how good or bad Arizona is. Anytime you have to travel on a short week for Thursday Night Football, it is a tough thing to do. Then you're home against the Raiders and the Ravens. 2 very tough games. You're on the road in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. You're home against the defending champion Rams. And then back-to-back weeks, you're traveling across the country. You go to the 49ers, and then you're at Tampa. It's just not easy. I mean, like, you have the meat of your schedule coming. So you've got to get yourself ahead in these first 5 games, which means this week in London and next week at home against Seattle are just critical because primarily of what happened in Carolina yesterday. I know there's a lot of people that want to bench Jameis Winston. By the way, can you play Allen number 11 after the game? He was adamant about Jameis Winston being their guy.
No. Look, we all have to play better, and so I'm not looking to single anything out. Obviously, we got to make some corrections, and we got to do a better job as a group.
So he was asked if they were planning on sitting Jameis Winston or making a change. And the crazy thing is, when you look at the yardstick, the Saints outgained the Panthers 426 to 293. The Saints threw for 342, Carolina 148. Now, Carolina did run for 145 yards, and McCaffrey had 100 yards rushing, 25 for 108. But your self-inflicted wounds killed you in this game. Y'all know that I was very pro Jameis when they signed him. I was very good with them re-signing him. and seeing how these next couple of years go with him to see if he's a guy that can be your guy long term. And I'm not going to punt on that after a couple of games. What I'll say today is the same thing I said last Monday. You have a guy that is playing with a literal broken back. And he is struggling to get this offense going. You can look and say, man, he threw for 353 and a score. That's true. A lot of it was in comeback mode late in the game, as we saw, as we've seen now for 3 games. But the other point that's also fair to mention about the game against Carolina is that it was not all Jameis. Jameis Winston didn't fumble, which led to Carolina's first touchdown. That was your captain and one of your best offensive players in Alvin Kamara. Jameis Winston didn't miss a field goal. That was Will Lutz. Jameis Winston didn't have a field goal blocked. That was, well, your protection. But Jameis Winston didn't allow Laviska Shenault to take a screen pass and run 65 yards for a score. So I'm not absolving Winston. He was bad, objectively bad. And I think the accuracy is clearly an issue, and that's, I think, in large part due to what's going on with his back, whether he'll acknowledge it or not. We've seen him be better. And I think his decision-making needs to improve as well. The example I'll give you is before half when the Saints had the field goal blocked, they were facing a 3rd and 3 from just outside the 10-yard line. You had 2 timeouts, and there were about 38 seconds left. Throw the ball underneath, get the first down, call timeout, take 3 shots into the end zone. Instead, he never looked off of Jarvis Landry, threw a fade that wasn't close, and they have a field goal blocked. And if you go back and look, Alvin Kamara was sitting right in the middle of the field. I actually screen grabbed this and tweeted it, but Alvin Kamara was sitting right in the middle of the field with no defender near him. I mean, Alvin Kamara would have very easily had the first down. And I mean, there's the shot if you're watching on YouTube. I mean, dump it to Kamara underneath. He has the first down, call a timeout, take 3 shots into the end zone. But he never looked off of Jarvis, through a fade, a low percentage route that wasn't even close, and you have a field goal blocked. I mean, those are the types of plays where you can say decision-making, yes, that mattered right there. So, I mean, it was very disappointing. If you're looking at the good that came away from it, your defense was fantastic again. Pete Werner continues to show out. Double-digit tackles again. You know, on a day where your defense had to toughen up and keep your offense, keep the team in the game while the offense tried to play catch-up. They did, by and large, throughout this game do that. So, I think your defense is fantastic. You played a game without Taysom Hill, without Deontay Hardy, which I think, as good of a change of pace as Taysom can be, not having him there obviously mattered. But this is a team that's got to find itself offensively, because defensively you are plenty good enough. And I think Will Lutz can still be an elite kicker, although that's a big concern now. Will Lutz has missed a kick in each of the first 3 games of this season now. And as much as that cost you a year ago, and we celebrated Lutz coming back, that confidence hasn't been rewarded so far this year. Lutz has missed a kick in each of the first 3 games. That's got to get better. But your defense is plenty good enough. We think Lutz can be plenty good enough as well in the kicking game. The offense has got to do its part. It's got to pull its own weight. And if you were going to be bullish about Jameis being okay despite his back injury, then you're going to die on that hill. You're either going to live or die on that hill. And he's just got to play better if you're going to ride with him. And that's got to start this week, because you have too much on the line. If you lose in London, you fall to 1-3. And then you got to do the international travel. I know you're playing a home game, but you're going to travel on Sunday. Monday's a wash. Tuesday's a normal day off. You're talking about a really quick turnaround to try to play that game against Seattle. I know Seattle's not a great team, but that is a steep climb. If you fall there and then you're looking at 1-4 with the murderer's row you have ahead of you, your season's over before it starts. So just a massive week for New Orleans this week, coming off a disappointing loss in Carolina. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. I always love telling you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, shawbillstire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name-brand tires at wholesale prices. You know where to find them. 17 locations all over Louisiana. You just go to shawbillstire.com. That's shawbillstire.com. You can hit the promotions tab right at the top of the homepage, and it'll show you all of the offers that they have. That's the manufacturer's offers, and then their offers coupled with them, which can save you even more money. It's shawbillstire.com. You can schedule service online. You can shop tires online. And remember, they will always treat you like family. It's just been what they've done now for more than 50 years. It's Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. All right, glad to have you aboard with us here. Cole Cubelic in 45 minutes. We'll talk about the weekend that was in the Southeastern Conference. We're looking forward to that. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. Another head coach in college football in the Power 5 has been fired. What does that Georgia Tech job look like with Jeff Collins out now? There's a reason I think that you could make the argument that that's the best job available. I'll explain what I mean coming up in just a little bit here. And the NFL is scrapping the Pro Bowl, as you may have heard. Ton to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Better coverage for less money. I say it every day. Legally, we all have to have insurance. And I'm telling you something that's happened that many of you have felt. Last Friday, went and had lunch with Adam and Jay over at Insurance Network of Louisiana. And something that has happened is a lot of insurance companies post-Ida have left the state. So a lot of you have been left without an insurance company. If that's you and you need help, you're looking for coverage, call Insurance Network of Louisiana, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. One of the things that we continue to see over and over again still is Liberty Mutual just outpricing the market. If you have your insurance currently with Liberty Mutual, you are probably overpaying. It is so worth a call to Insurance Network of Louisiana to see if they can shop to get you better coverage for less money. 293-0450. Call right now. 293-0450. They're there. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Jeff Collins was fired at Georgia Tech after a dreadful start to this season. As a matter of fact, since he arrived at Georgia Tech from Temple, he's just 10-28. So with Scott Frost at Nebraska, with Herm Edwards at Arizona State, now Jeff Collins at Georgia Tech, the Power 5 openings are mounting. I think we all suspect there will likely be an opening at Auburn and quite possibly Missouri as well with how things are going there with Eli Drinkwitz. So I actually don't know the temperature very much in Missouri. Maybe they're willing to be more patient with Eli. But it's safe to say that Brian Harsin bought himself a week with Missouri's brain farts. But if Auburn loses at home this week to LSU and gets drubbed next week by Georgia going into their open date, that would make a lot of sense for them to make a change in the open date. So the Power 5 openings are starting to get a little crowded. But the interesting thing about Georgia Tech, and it's they're a program that I've never quite figured out why they don't win more consistently. And they've got tremendous history, if you don't know. I mean, John Heisman, the Heisman Trophy, John Heisman coached at Georgia Tech. Bobby Dodd coached at Georgia Tech. I mean, the stadium's named Bobby Dodd Stadium. It's named after Bobby Dodd. The National Coach of the Year award is named after Bobby Dodd. They've won 4 national titles, their most recent in 1990. For perspective, Georgia Tech won a national championship more recently than did Notre Dame. And by the way, they have 3 unclaimed titles as well. So, I mean, that would be 7 titles if they claim their unclaimed titles. Even with their claimed titles, that's as many as LSU in its history. Now, LSU obviously had more recent success. But, we talk about some of these programs that have great tradition and why they haven't been able to win. Nebraska, Notre Dame. Until now, Tennessee, which has been going through a wasteland for the last nearly 20 years. And I've shared this with you before, but some of it's obvious. Hard to recruit to Lincoln, Nebraska. There's nothing in Lincoln, Nebraska. I mean, 25 years ago or 40 years ago, when Nebraska was winning all the time and on TV all the time, it was easy. But now everybody's on TV. So you get a 4 or 5-star recruit, you bring them up to the middle America in cornfields and snow in Lincoln, Nebraska. There ain't a lot to keep you there, man. There just isn't. And the state of Nebraska doesn't produce any talent. That's the problem Notre Dame has. That's the problem Nebraska has. That's the problem Tennessee has, to a lesser degree, but the state of Tennessee doesn't produce talent. That's why Tennessee has struggled. They've swung and missed on hires, and they don't have a great in-state recruiting base to lean back on, like LSU does, or Ohio State does, or Georgia does. You always got talent in the state. But that's the point about Georgia Tech. I get it. It's more of an academic institution. They're in the ACC. They're not in the SEC. But you're in Atlanta. The highest rated signee for Georgia Tech's most recent class from the state of Georgia was the 36th best player in Georgia, running back Antonio Martin. Georgia Tech could literally just recruit the state of Georgia and have a better roster than they have right now. It's mind-boggling. Just recruit Georgia and North Florida, and you can win. But they don't, and it's mind-boggling. You get the right guy in there that knows how to recruit that state, Georgia Tech can win. Like, I get it. There's academic requirements, but Michigan's got stringent academic requirements. Texas A&M, Ohio State, these are really good academic schools that thrive in football. So Georgia Tech can. They certainly can. They've done it before. They got to get the right guy in there. It's a little mind-boggling that it's gone as badly as it has there in Atlanta with such a hotbed of talent in your own city. I'm telling you, of all the jobs available, I would take Georgia Tech before I took Nebraska. And I might take Georgia Tech before I take Arizona State, provided they're willing to pay. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. brought to you by Shoots Electric, CESofLA.com. That's CESofLA.com. Y'all, yesterday during the Saints game, power went out. It's crazy. I told you this before. For whatever reason, we lose power in my neighborhood all the time. There wasn't even a storm yesterday, but we lost power. Immediately, boom. My Generac from Shoots Electric powered on, and I was able to resume my misery watching the Saints game. Shoots Electric, CESofLA.com. There's a storm right now that we know. Hopefully it dodges us, and we don't have to fool with it at all this storm season, but you never know when your power may go out. Whenever it does, if you have a Generac whole home generator from Shoots Electric, no worries. They take care of everything. And when the power goes out, your Shoots Electric generator comes on and powers your entire home. CESofLA.com. Financing is available. It was incredibly affordable, more affordable than I had anticipated. And Shoots, working with them was incredible. And they have a 24/7 customer support because power outages are not a 9-to-5 thing. Shoots Electric, CESofLA.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Auburn Tigers.
Robbie Ashford was injured in the game against Missouri this past Saturday. Auburn dialed up a double pass. Ashford was turned into a blocker, got hurt on the play. Freshman Holden Griner stepped in, made his college debut. Ashford did return to start the fourth quarter. Sounds like Ashford is going to be good for the LSU game this weekend. Of course, Finley's out with a right shoulder injury, and Zach Calzada has had season-ending surgery on his non-throwing shoulder.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bama routed Vanderbilt, and with Arkansas, A&M, and Tennessee ahead, a couple of injury notes that are worth keeping an eye on. Starting defensive lineman Byron Young left the game. He was hobbling. Nick Saban said he's got a sprained ankle, so they'll monitor that. Also, starting tight end Cameron Latu went down clutching his knee. He did return, though, for the next offensive series.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia defensive back Javon Bullard was arrested by campus police, charged with multiple misdemeanors, including driving under the influence. He was booked at 4:57 a.m. What are you doing out there at 4:57? He was released on bond. As a sophomore, Bullard started all 4 of Georgia's games this season. Georgia is at Missouri on Saturday.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Starting outside linebacker J.J. Weaver doubtful to return at Ole Miss on Saturday. Weaver missed Saturday's game against Northern Illinois, listed as week-to-week with an upper extremity injury suffered in the Youngstown State win. Kentucky is at Ole Miss on Saturday.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
And speaking of those Ole Miss Rebels, when they host Kentucky on Saturday, Ole Miss is going to debut a uniform scheme that is a collaboration with camo expert Realtree. Yep, this is a thing that's going to happen IRL. Realtree founder, CEO, Ole Miss alum Bill Jordan played wide receiver for the Rebs in the early 1970s. These are terrible. There's no other way to say it. This is a hideous idea, and I do not endorse it whatsoever. There you have it. That is Around the SEC. Presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. Online at gcopnet.com, the official office equipment provider of LSU Athletics for 20 years now. That's Gulf Coast Office Products. Also the official office equipment provider of the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, the ULL Raging Cajuns. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. gcopnet.com. Muse, what do you think about the Ole Miss helmets?
Bad. Really bad.
Terrible.
I don't... Camo anything, if you're not a service academy, just don't do it.
See, this doesn't even look like camo.
And it is true. It doesn't even look like camo.
It just looks like you know what it looks like? It looks like my kid took an ink blotter, a dauber, and just
splatter paint, right?
Splattered all over them.
Yeah.
It looks terrible.
I don't understand.
This looks like art at a preschool. It's just so bad. What are you doing, Ole Miss? And I'll say it again. LSU fans don't like when I say this, Muse. But the best uniform in college football is Ole Miss when they go powder blue helmet, red jersey, gray pant. It's the best uniform in college football.
It's really good.
I'm not saying I like Ole Miss, and a lot of their uniform combos stink. That one is the cleanest, best look in all of college football. When you have something so good, stop screwing it up. What is that? That is nothing but a play to a sponsor. The guy, the Bill, whoever, his name is on the practice field at the indoor facility at Ole Miss, in the Manning facility. So he's a guy that's given a lot of money. So this is like a hat tip to his company, clearly, to get them pub and all. It's just stupid. It's just whatever.
Is it just the helmet, or are they doing some type of jersey thing
No,
too?
it's just the helmet.
See, that's even worse. What combo are you going to wear that with now?
I don't know, but they have apparel, like the sideline gear. Look, they're selling the sideline gear as well.
Yeah, that's bad too.
Look, there's the hoodie that they're selling, but it's got the real tree thing on it. So all the coaches will be wearing that on the sideline.
That's bad too.
Just a bad look. Really
That's
bad.
not good.
Not good, Ole Miss. Do better. All right, it's after further review. Cole Cubelic in 30 minutes from right now. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next.
AFR.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
Come on over to Corval Toyota and meet with a sales specialist to build your new Toyota. It's easy and stress-free. Or if you're looking for a pre-owned, we have a wide variety. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we're wrapping up hour number one. Glad you're with us here. The NFL announced today that they are scrapping the Pro Bowl. They're going to replace the Pro Bowl with the Pro Bowl games. So it'll be week-long skills competition. They'll play a flag football game. What happens the first time one of these dudes tears their ACL playing in a flag football game? Tell me you didn't think about that.
I thought about it, yeah.
Forgot about this. There was so in 1999, and shout out ESPN's the one that cited this. I forgot about this. In 99, Patriots rookie running back Robert Edwards, who I believe was a Georgia running back. Would you check on that for me, please? Would you check? I think Robert Edwards was a Georgia running back who went to New England. He suffered knee ligament damage and sliced an artery in his left leg playing an NFL-sanctioned beach flag football game during the week of the Pro Bowl. He missed all of the 1999 and 2000 seasons rehabbing his knee.
He did go to Georgia.
He did go to Georgia.
He did go to
yeah,
Georgia.
same guy. Okay, that's what I was thinking of. Robert Edwards. Anyway, look, I know there's no love lost. A lot of people have been calling for the Pro Bowl to be gone forever. I'll tell you why I'm surprised. There's one reason I'm surprised. Despite the perception of the Pro Bowl being bad and bad football and all, last year, the Pro Bowl got 6.69 million viewers. 6.69 million. Let me put that into perspective for you. Last year's NLCS, okay, this was Dodgers-Braves. You had the Dodgers, which are one of baseball's best brands and a dominant team in the LA market, right? You had the Dodgers-Braves. The NLCS last year averaged 5.2 million viewers. More people watched fake football than on average watched the National League Championship Series between the Dodgers and the Braves, including the LA market and one of the most marketable teams and best-known brands, not only in baseball but in all of sports, the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, the reason that I've said forever they ain't scrapping the Pro Bowl is because people still watch. It ain't 20 million people, but 6.69 million viewers, you can sell that. There are not many TV shows that draw that type of audience. So in some respects, it is a little surprising, honestly, that they're scrapping it because of that. You can make money doing that. But anyway, Pro Bowl will go away, and they'll do some type of skills competition. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. Y'all, last week, you probably noticed, the Fed did bump interest rates again. And so a lot of people see that and think, not a good time to buy. Actually, that's not true because you're probably not seeing rate increase. You're probably not done seeing rate increases. So if you're thinking about buying, buy now before rates go higher. And then when rates decrease again, which invariably at some point they will, refi at the lower rate. Let a local loan officer, GMFS Mortgage, help you through the whole process. GMFSmortgage.com, GMFSmortgage.com. Offices all over the state of Louisiana, the number one local lender in our state. Nobody in our state closes more loans than GMFS Mortgage. And for every loan they close, remember, they make a donation to Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center because they're great community partners as well. That's GMFS Mortgage. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. Speaking of TV ratings, a lot of people I know are upset today. The SEC announced the TV schedule for the weekend of October the 8th. So not this weekend when LSU plays Auburn at 6 p.m., but the following weekend when LSU's at home against Tennessee. And it is going to be an 11 a.m. kickoff on ESPN. I didn't leave myself a ton of room here to explain this, and I want to be very clear. I am super bummed. I'm super bummed because Tennessee has not been in Baton Rouge since 2010. That was, of course, the T-Bob snap game where he slammed his helmet and LSU got a second play because Tennessee had like 36 guys on the field. It's been a long time since Tennessee's been in Baton Rouge. And considering us sending LSU, especially if they win at Auburn this weekend, and a top 10 Tennessee team, you had the makings for just a really special Saturday night. And we've talked about it so much, that LSU, Tiger Stadium, week in and week out, the environment isn't what it is at its apex. But you really only had 2 chances at that this year. It's of course, when Alabama comes in November, and then this game a week from Saturday against Tennessee. It's not to say you can't have a great atmosphere in the day. One of the best atmospheres I've ever been in my life in Tiger Stadium was 2003 Georgia. That was a day game. Last year against Florida was an 11 a.m. kickoff. That was a pretty darn good atmosphere. And I think this one will be as well. But you had a chance for it to be special. And it's not going to happen because of TV. So that's what it is. We'll talk more about all the whys coming up in a bit.
AFR.
Put a button here on hour number 1. I want to remind you about the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffery in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. Remember, if it's hormone replacement therapy, you want to feel like your younger self. Maybe you don't sleep well at night. Maybe you wake up and you don't have a ton of energy. Maybe it's hard to fall asleep at night. Maybe you don't have the motivation to get to the gym. Maybe you get to the gym, but you don't see muscle gains. It's hard to build muscle and burn fat. That is natural for every human. That is natural for all of us as we age, as our body produces less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel. And aging happens at a different rate in everyone. The aging process happens at a different rate for all of us. So it's not so much about what your age is. It's about how you feel. And a simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. Learn more online at theantiagingclinics.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I'm Christine Lisi. Chargers Pro Bowl left tackle Rashawn Slater expected to miss the rest of the season with a torn left biceps tendon, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. Chargers also dealing with injuries to quarterback Justin Herbert, edge rusher Joey Bosa, center Corey Linsley, and receiver Keenan Allen. The Eagles have moved up to join the Buccaneers as the co-favorites to win the NFC at Caesars Sportsbook. The Eagles and Bucs listed at plus 360. Philly and Tampa now also tied with the third shortest odds to win the Super Bowl. The Eagles, led by quarterback Jalen Hurts, certainly tops in the NFC, believes ESPN's Ryan Clark.
You're talking about this team, you're talking about the best football team in the NFC. And if you are having any early MVP conversations that do not include Jalen Hurts, you're actually not having the correct MVP conversation. That's real. That's how well this team is playing. That's how well this quarterback is playing.
Ryan Clark on Get Up. ESPN's Todd Archer is reporting Cowboys receiver Michael Gallup will be inactive against the Giants for Monday Night Football, 8:15 Eastern, ABC, ESPN TV, and ESPN2. His return from a torn ACL waits at least one more week.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt. I am sweating. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Cole Cubelic here in about 13 minutes from right now. We'll recap the weekend that was in the SEC, which, of course, involved LSU beating New Mexico 38-0. By the way, after Cole, bottom of this hour, we'll let you hear some from Dennis Allen and players who spoke in London today. Team lost to Carolina, immediately got on a plane to London where they'll spend the whole week sort of acclimating themselves, body clock, everything, and they'll take on Minnesota in the London series on Sunday morning Central Time. So we'll get to back some more Saints content as they're getting ready for their week in London, coming up in about 30 minutes. A part of the game on Saturday where LSU beat New Mexico, we learned afterwards. Post-game, Brian Kelly gave an update on Major Burns, who did not play on Saturday against New Mexico. Here's what Brian Kelly said post-game about the LSU safety.
Major situation is probably one where he's going to be lost probably for anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks with an upper neck injury. I don't want to get into the specifics when you talk about a neck injury, but he's been cleared by all of the doctors, but it's going to need some rest. But it's probably going to take between 3 and 6 weeks before we can get him back out on the field. Yeah, that's a bummer because Major Burns, of course, who suffered an injury a year ago, missed the bulk of the season, battled his way back, and really was playing very well at the start of this season for LSU at that safety spot. Of course, they started along with Jay Ward. Then, as we all know now, they kicked Jay Ward down to nickel and moved Greg Brooks back to safety, and it looked like that was going to be a really good tandem. And now Burns has the injury, so he's out. We'll come back to safety here in just a second, but Brian Kelly did give an update today on Monday on all of the injuries, including Jaden Daniels, Major Burns, Armani Goodwin. So here was the update that Brian Kelly gave on all the injuries. Jaden, no residual effect from Saturday. He'll be able to practice. Let's see, Jay Ward feeling really good. I think he's a go for Tuesday. We'll probably limit his workload on Tuesday, but he should be able to go. Amani, it'll be a day-to-day situation with him.
So that's great news about Daniels, who had a little lower back thing, but got up, was cleared to return, but the game was in hand. There was no need to play him, so he's good to go. That sounds like it's just all clear, good to go. Jay Ward, the timing of the game worked out so well. Of course, you beat Mississippi State. Ward kind of had that hyperextension on his knee when he got the interception. It was an ugly fall, but he got up, which was great to see. You just didn't need to play him. You didn't need to play him. So as Brian Kelly said, look, he'll should be good to go for Tuesday. Remember, they have like a light day on Monday. Then Tuesday is when they sort of get after it with a full pads practice. And then Armani Goodwin, that's the one that looked the most significant. They described it as like a hamstring and knee post-game. So, look, Armani Goodwin has emerged as your best running back. And I certainly don't want to speculate. I don't have any update beyond what Brian Kelly has provided, what I've been told, which hamstring, knee, and those, I mean, we've watched sports long enough to know what those injuries tend to mean. So, what it would certainly mean is more reps for John Emery, for Noah Cain, and for Josh Williams in whatever order they decide to go. On Saturday, they make sure I have this right. So, of course, Goodwin started, and the second running back in after Goodwin was Emery. So they went Goodwin, then Emery was the second running back in, and they did give Josh Williams some run. It was Cain in the second half again, who got going a little bit. Scored a couple of touchdowns also. Really strong run on that long touchdown run for Noah Cain, where he split two defenders, dragged a couple more inside the 10-yard line. So you got some options. You got guys who played a lot, maybe been chomping at the bit for an opportunity. They might get it this week if Goodwin is in fact out, but we'll wait for an update on that. I think of greater consequence, and in particular this week, is the safety spot. And this, oddly, in a weird kind of way, really works out well for LSU. You never want to see a player get injured, and anytime a starter is injured and a backup steps in, while the backup may be capable, what that does is it hurts your depth. So now if the backup has to come out, who's now the starter for whatever reason, to take a blow or injury or anything like that, now your depth is compromised. But Joe Fouche, the timing of this is massive. Remember, Fouche is from McDonough 35 in New Orleans, went to Arkansas, wasn't recruited by LSU, went to Arkansas, has played all 4 years there. Played in 44 games with 34 career starts at Arkansas. Had an extra year because of COVID. Transfers to LSU to play his final season. Had some academic issues. Some credits didn't transfer. Had to sit out 4 games. And the timing of this, with Fouche becoming eligible and Major Burns, the injury that's going to keep him out, couldn't have worked better. And you're talking about a situation where now Fouche and Brooks, who both were teammates at Arkansas and transferred to LSU together, are now going to be your starting safeties in this game at Auburn, a place where both have played twice in their career. So this would be the third time for each of them going to Auburn. That's a pretty fortuitous circumstance that it worked out the way that it did. Brian Kelly, can you play 15, Muse? He did give an update on Fouche, who, despite the fact that he hadn't played in 4 games, should be good to go right away.
Yes, he's been actively involved. I think the plan has been excellent. He's been involved in any articulation between our offense and defense that hasn't involved game plan, which is quite a bit. Every day we'll have some 11-on-11 work where there is no, hey, we're getting ready for New Mexico or getting ready for Mississippi State. He's involved in that. So he's in our defensive structures. When we start to, over the past month, when we got ready for team time for our opponent, he would come over on the scout, and he was a pain to deal with because he was so good, playing so hard as a scout team member, that he made us better. So I've been able to firsthand see his action on a day-to-day basis, and he'll be ready to play right away.
So that's fantastic news. And when you have a guy, sometimes we often say, there's an old Mike D line where we say practice is for the unskilled. Sometimes you just have to get a guy ready to go on game day. And when you're Joe Fouche and you've played 4 years in the SEC, you've played in 44 games, you've started 34 times, you've played in every freaking venue in the West twice, you're just ready to go. I don't suspect that Joe Fouche is going to have much of a lag, right? Much of a learning curve. He's just played so much, and now he should be ready to roll. And the fact that he's going to be playing next to Greg Brooks, the guy he played next to at Arkansas for 4 years, is even more beneficial. The thing I'll tell you, though, is that Fouche has played Auburn 4 times. He's and the other thing about Fouche is he has the reputation as a box safety, a guy that can help against the run. Remember, Auburn, not a good passing offense. The thing they do, or should theoretically be able to do, is run the football with Jarquez Hunter, with Tank Bigsby, Robbie Ashford, who's an athletic quarterback who can run a little bit. That should be what they're good at. Now, they've struggled a lot this year, but Fouche has played Auburn 4 times. He's 0-4 against Auburn. He did not record a stat as a freshman in 2018. He had 8 tackles the game in 2019 at home. 2020, in the COVID year, they went back to Auburn. He had 5 tackles and a loss. And then last year at home against Auburn and a loss, he had 3 tackles. So this is a guy who's played 4 times against Auburn, has played well 4 times against Auburn, but has never beaten Auburn. I would suspect that Brooks and Fouche might be pretty motivated to go get this win Saturday at Jordan-Hare Stadium. The first in both of their careers, it would be against Auburn, and what would be both of their last opportunity to get a win against Auburn. A guy who knows Auburn well is former Auburn center, now with the SEC Network, Cole Cubelic. He'll join us next, as he does every Monday here on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com, or download the Rouse's app. Hey, remember, of course, Sunday, the Saints playing in London. It's an 8:30 a.m. kickoff Central Time, which is brutal. So if you're going to have your morning game watch party, or you're going to be sipping your coffee and watching the Saints, and you maybe don't have time to get to the grocery store, let Rouse's take care of it. With delivery and pickup options, they make it easier than ever. Download the Rouse's app. You can see the delivery and pickup options. Select your items. Your personal shopper will go pick it out for you. When you pull up, they'll bring it out to your vehicle, or you can even have your items delivered. It's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. They got hot lunch and dinner items every single day. It's at Rouse's. Find the location nearest you. Rouse's, this feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. and we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. He enjoys Victory cigars and pancake blocks. It's time to preview this week in the SEC with Cole Cubelic, presented by Roosters Men's Grooming.
All right, let's get to it. Always appreciate Cole Cubelic, Jocks FM there in Birmingham, and of course the SEC Network. He was in Tuscaloosa on Saturday. Como next, where, boy, they may have an interesting situation with the Missouri Tigers. Cole Cubelic's with us. How are you, man?
Hi, I'm doing great, Matt. How are you?
I'm very well. I appreciate it. You saw LSU early in this season. I'm curious, how much better is this team in 4 weeks from where they were to where they are?
I think they're a lot better. They kind of give me the vibes of a team that has been figuring themselves out. Had some wrinkles that needed to be ironed out, and maybe it's just some early headaches that needed to be sorted through. And now it seems like they've got their five on the offensive line. Quarterback's getting more and more comfortable. They're figuring out things that he may excel in and be good at. You've got some depth at running back now. You had some changes on defense. You lose Mason Smith, had to fill that void. Ali Gay's out for a half. Olajari misses a game. So you haven't really just had everybody in. Now Seven Banks gets in last week. So they've kind of been adding and subtracting on defense, it seems, weekly, but they're getting a little more comfortable. Harold Perkins, obviously a guy now I think they know can make some plays, going to be able to help them in different ways. So I just think it's more of I don't know if it's more. I do think they're better. Don't get me wrong, but it's been more of a learning curve, more of a feeling out process than it has just been. Okay, we took the field. We took the field in game one. We took the field in game four. We're 3 times better, 2 times better than we won initially. I think it's been probably more of a process of just everybody learning about what they are, what they're good at, what they're not good at, and then figuring out how to move on.
Same question, maybe in reverse for Auburn.
I mean, I'm not sure they were ever great, Matt, to be honest. I think level of opponent probably helped mask some things, made some things a little bit easier. And now we're kind of figuring out, all right, some of these things that we thought that were going to be a minor headache are, they're a major migraine and probably not going to be able to make them go away. There's not enough Excedrin for some of these issues that they have. So, and now you've lost Tate Johnson at center. You had to work without Nick Brahms early, so you knew it was going to take him some time to be able to get going. Quarterback situation, the back and forth, how are they going to be able to utilize those guys? Who's truly going to get comfortable? How long was it going to take them? Getting away from Tank Bigsby at times was going to be a little bit weird. All that said, I can't explain to you what's going on with the defensive line because I thought the front would be an area that you could sort of really lean on this year and say, all right, if you had 2 strengths of the team, what would they be? Probably tailback in the front. And the front's been letting us down. I don't know how else you could say it. When you watch them, you just think, man, we're not getting that thing done. And they can't play gap scheme runs. Penn State absolutely gashed them with the counter. Missouri got them with some power and counter last week, and just not getting any better. So that's a part to me that just is inexplicable. And now I think you got some guys that are questioning themselves. You got some guys that. I'll just say that there are some individuals on that team that are important to that team that need to figure out what they want to do. And I think that's probably as far as I can go with it.
Cole, you look at the line, it went from 7.5, it's up to 9. I mean, is LSU at this point not 9 or 10 points better than Auburn at Jordan-Hare?
Probably. Yeah, probably. I mean, listen, I understand home field, and it's big. We know home field's massive in this league. We've known that for a long time. There's no secret there. But where does Auburn pose problems is what I would ask you. If LSU's offensive line is solidified, and I'm not saying that, they're the favorite to win the Joe Moore Award right now, but, they've gotten better, and they seem to now know who they are and who they're going to go with. Now you can begin to build that continuity, and you can begin to sort of find a way to get a little bit better. You had a quarterback that was, I'm not going to say running for his life early. At times he was, but also, a little bit trigger happy to utilize his legs. Now he's settled down some. You know who your guys are defensively. The defensive line is going to be a problem for anybody still, even without Mason Smith. Auburn couldn't block Missouri. Yeah. I mean, there were minimal instances in which a running back got to the line of scrimmage and had a clear path past the line of scrimmage. I'm not talking about 5 yards past, 8, 10, 12 yards past. I'm talking just past the line of scrimmage. I mean, most of the work for the running backs began 2 yards in the backfield, or a yard behind the line of scrimmage, or 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And that's just, I don't know. There hasn't been a lot of creativity in the run game. Some of that's going to have to happen. But is there a receiver that can run by LSU's DBs? I mean, John Samuel Shinker's a solid tight end, but is he a mismatch for the LSU linebackers? I mean, if you look at it piece by piece, I hate to go the old school Auburn Plainsman when I was in college, the school newspaper. And, they had Auburn, they had LSU, they had running backs, and they would check a box. Linebackers, and they would check a box. Offensive line, and they would check a box. That's not how games are won and lost. But if you played it that way, how many boxes are you checking for Auburn? I mean, kicker? I can't tell you about the punters. I don't watch the tape on the punters, so I don't really know who's better in that department either way. I don't really care. But, I mean, there are not a lot of areas that I would check Auburn and say, oh, yeah, advantage here. And then if we took it a step further, say, well, then let's look into the matchups. Where does Auburn pose a matchup problem for LSU? I'm not sure I can find any of those either. So, yeah, when you sort of lay it out like that in a very elementary essence, I don't know how LSU wouldn't be a pretty big favorite in the game.
Cole Cubelic's with us, courtesy of Roosters Men's Grooming, roostersmgc.com. You can book an appointment, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. Tennessee beats Florida. I'm going to ask you the question this way. Is Tennessee a legitimate SEC contender?
I'm not yet. No, I think Tennessee is absolutely one of the most dangerous teams in the league. I would classify them as that, and I would feel okay saying that. But you're talking about SEC contender. You're talking about a team that's on a level playing field with Georgia and Alabama. And even though they could get on that field and maybe find a way to pull the upset, or they may have a recipe that could be problematic for those teams, I don't think that makes them on that level just yet. Also, we're still pretty early in the season, so we haven't tested depth yet. We don't know what's going to happen if they lose a player or two. Now listen, they lost their best receiver and they were fine. So that says, that's one box checked right there. That's good. Give them credit for that. But I just don't know if they have the takeover guys on both sides of the ball. I don't know if they have the guys on both sides of the ball that could probably be consistently problematic like Alabama and Georgia do. So I'm not going to put them there just yet, no. But I will label them as extremely dangerous each and every week.
What did you learn about Florida in that loss in Knoxville?
Well, number one, getting Ventrell Miller back was huge. And I know people are just going to look at the yards and say, that was a letdown performance, this, that, whatever. I mean, outside of the busted coverages, I felt like Florida did a pretty good job of making Tennessee earn their yards, specifically on the ground. Now, you can't just look at what Hendon Hooker did and say, oh, they had their way running the ball, because some of those are scrambles and some of those are just, breakdowns in certain areas and him just making plays. So Ventrell Miller's massive for that football team. They have to have him. And then, too, I think Anthony Richardson grew up a little bit. I mean, I think we saw him take a step as far as, I felt like he calmed down. Probably, I don't know if it was second, third drive of the second quarter. He kind of felt like he just said, you know what? I'm just going to go with it, man. Like, I'm just going to let this thing rip. I'm going to do what I think I need to do to help my team win games. And he got better, and he looked better. And he had some massive throws, specifically on fourth down in that game. So, I think they're a little more dangerous at receiver than maybe we gave them credit for. And, they're a team that has a unique talent at quarterback, and they got to continue to find ways to allow him to be successful and make him difficult to defend, because he's a guy that can go out and win you a game.
He's on Twitter at Cole Cubelic. I want to jump to the Arkansas-Texas A&M game. We all saw how wacky it was and what all transpired. But which was more significant, Cole, the loss for Arkansas or the win for A&M?
I would say the win for A&M right now, because Arkansas, I mean, listen, there's two ways to look at these seasons, right? And unfortunately, the way most fans look at them, Matt, is, oh my God, look who they have left on their schedule.
Right.
And it's just,
right.
like no one's going to ever be able to win any of these games. Like, why in the hell do we play them? But the other way to look at it, and the way that I like to look at it sometimes, is you have opportunity games in front of you. Like, everybody just is so damn scared of all these teams. They got Georgia. Alabama on the road. All right, cool. Well, you know what that is? That's a massive opportunity for you to go make something happen and completely change the narrative of your football team. So with what Arkansas has, they're not undefeated anymore. It's not ideal. Probably some Hog fans were hoping that would continue to take place, but you get Alabama home this week. You can completely reverse it and then some if you can find a way to win that game. And, you go look at that game. If I'm not mistaken, I don't have it in front of me, Arkansas was better on third down. They won the turnover battle. Maybe they didn't win the turnover battle. I know they're better on third down. They outrushed Texas A&M. Like, statistically, there are a lot of ways that they outplayed that football team. You go to one massive turnover, which essentially ends up being a 14-point swing, because I think the play of the game is actually the play before that, where Antonio Johnson comes down and he gets a little inside move on the 3-yard line, yet he reaches back in and is able to make that tackle. It's a one-on-one tackle, and that ball is going in it looks like it's going in for a touchdown. So we don't have to worry about K.J. Jefferson, by the way, on first down extending the ball like that. Like, that can't happen. But we don't have to worry about that play. And then all of a sudden, I think it's 21-3 at that point. It may be 21-0. Like, Arkansas is in complete control in that game, and I think you force A&M to play a different game, and you can play a different game at that point in time. Instead, touchdown goes the other way, and all of a sudden A&M's back in it. They got a ton of momentum. Your quarterback's probably sitting there thinking, what did I just do? Emotionally, he's going to be difficult to get back in line. So I think there was a large majority of that football game that Sam Pittman, Barry Odom, Kendall Briles are going to be able to go to their guys and say, look, you outplayed them. All right? You did the majority of the things we asked you to do. Let's not act like all of a sudden we're not a good football team. We can't move the ball. We can't stop people. Devon Achane had a nice game, but other than that, they pretty much, I think they kept them. I know they were under 300 yards. So, it's not like A&M was just moving the ball up and down the field. So I think there'll be still some positive takeaways that they'll be able to sell to those guys. And you've got big opportunities in front of you to be able to go prove yourself. They're at BYU. They got Alabama. They got the rest of the West. Like, they have plenty of opportunities to go out and say, we are a top 10, top 5, whatever football team, and we got games in front of us that we're going to be able to show you that.
You mentioned that Bama's at Arkansas this week. Of course, LSU's at Auburn. A&M is at Mississippi State, but maybe the biggest one in the league, Cole. Kentucky's at Ole Miss. We're going to find out if Ole Miss at 4-0 is for real. Give me a thumbnail on that game.
Kentucky's got some problems at tackle. Want to see if they can get that figured out. Interested to see what part of the game plan Chris Rodriguez is going to be. It's a guy that, he's had multiple 1,000-yard seasons, but he hasn't played this year. And how much does Kentucky really need him? Kentucky's probably played out over their skis up front on the defensive line. Their linebackers are exceptional. Ole Miss has one of the most unique and fun to watch run games in all of college football right now. They are humming in the run game. They're doing some really cool, really unique stuff that is super difficult to defend. And there's going to be a massive challenge for Brad White and company to be able to find out a way to stop it, because they can still go fast. They can slow it down. They added more quarterback runs last week. They have 3 tailbacks that can absolutely go. They've got multiple wide receivers. They got a tight end that's not afraid to block and is athletic and can be a matchup problem. Defensively is the question for Ole Miss. I just don't think we know yet. 13 points for those first 3 games. I think we found out against Tulsa. A team, by the way, which is pretty good at pushing the ball down the field. They lost their quarterback halfway through that game. So losing David Bland was tough for them, but they put some points on the board. So maybe Ole Miss hadn't gotten into the top 50 of defenses just yet. Like, let's pump the brakes on that one. We'll find out against Kentucky. And Will Levis, for all the yards, all the touchdowns, all the tough plays, all the gamer moments, he will give you the ball. So can Ole Miss be opportunistic and take that ball away, maybe more than once, and find a way to go get that win? Being at home is going to be big. I do think it neutralizes itself a little bit. I always say the 11 o'clock game, brings things back towards the road team just a little bit. Yeah, it's not as loud, it's not as bad, but when you're on the road, you expect your schedule to change. Things are going to be weird. Things are going to be different. It's not fun to wake up at 5:30 or 6 a.m. to play a home game. Like for a college kid, that's punishment to do the coolest thing that you get to do, and that's play college football at home. So it's going to be interesting. I think this is a big week for us to learn about both of those football teams, and I do think there's still a lot of questions on the table for each one.
SEC Nation's going to be in Oxford for Kentucky at Ole Miss. Should be a really good weekend down there around the Grove. Cole will be in Como this weekend. Going to be a big weekend around the conference. Cole's with us every single Monday to talk about it, courtesy of our friends at Roosters Men's Grooming Center, roostersmgc.com. Go get the gentleman's choice. Trust me, you will thank me later. Cole, we appreciate you, man, as always. Thanks.
Absolutely, Matt. Look forward to catching up next week.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you. It's always great to spend 15 minutes with Cole talking SEC football for the week that was. We appreciate him, and we appreciate Roosters. Roostersmgc.com. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, Town Center, and on Old Perkins, directly across from the entrance to Blue Bayou. It's Roosters Men's Grooming Center. All right, it's after further review. Quick break. Saints are in London. Dennis Allen, several players did catch up with the media earlier today. We'll get you updates after a disappointing Saturday or Sunday in Charlotte. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about River City's 1-hour air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You can't miss them. You see them all over town because at River City's 1-hour air, so many of your friends and neighbors do what I do. They trust River City's 1-hour air. Joshua Scott is in that number. A 5-star review said, River City's 1-hour has helped me meet my residential HVAC needs for several years now. They are always able to get here fast to evaluate, and any repairs are made expeditiously. Britton Holden was our HVAC technician. Britton is very professional, organized, and quality-minded. Great job, guys. Thank you for your efforts. That's another 5-star review for River City's 1-hour air. Remember, if you have any issues with your AC, call River City's 1-hour air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance.
available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yeah. Slow jams. Are you loving somebody tonight? I mean, Moose, what the hell is it? What are you doing?
Oh, I just picked it.
Could anything kill the vibe of a show more than
Well, I mean, you are about to talk Saints, so I mean,
fair enough.
you know.
Touche. Woo. I should have played the Undertaker's theme. Saints are 1-2. Of course, they lose at Carolina. So the Saints are going to play in London. I didn't realize this. This will be on Sunday will be the 31st NFL game in London. And the previous 30 matchups have never matched two winning teams. See that? They've never had two teams with a winning record, both with a winning record, play in this game. 10 times you've had two teams with losing records. The other 21, you've had one team above 500, the other team below 500. So they've never had a game with two teams with winning records. This will be the Saints' fourth game in London. Back in 2008, they played the Chargers. In 2017, they played the Dolphins. And then this will be the third time with the Saints taking on the Vikings on Sunday from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It'll be 8:30 a.m. Central Time. So the Saints lose on Sunday in Charlotte. After the game, they immediately flew to London. They weren't coming back to then go. They're just going to spend the whole week in London, which that was the plan before the season started. That's how they were going to handle this week. And it's probably for organizational purposes this week, the best decision to make. You give yourself a full game week. The problem becomes the return trip, right? That's why usually whenever teams play in London, the subsequent week, they get their bye to recover from the international travel. The Saints requested not to have their bye so early in the season. That's why they're going to play the week after they get home. They're going to play at home against Seattle. And Seattle lost yesterday at home to Atlanta, so it's a game where Seattle's going to come from the Pacific Northwest down to New Orleans. They'll have to travel. They're not very good to begin with, but that's a tough spot for New Orleans, which makes this game against Minnesota even more impactful. Of great consequence is going to be who's available. Dennis Allen did confirm that everybody made the trip, that all of the except the IR guys, everybody made the trip. Apparently Jarvis's injury and Michael Thomas's injury are insignificant. Thomas dealing with a toe injury. Jarvis Landry has soreness in his foot. The Jarvis injury looked more severe, man. He was not really putting any weight on that foot when he left the game. But, of course, of greatest consequence is going to be what's up with Jameis Winston. After the game, this is what Jameis said. Again, post-game in Carolina, this is what Jameis said about his back.
Again, the most important thing is us executing, right? That's it. We can't shoot ourselves in the foot. We got to find a way to finish drives, and we will.
And he was also asked if his back could heal while he continues playing.
I think it's going to get better. I believe it is. But my focus is on us trying to find a way to finish drives. That's my main thing.
Man, I do respect so much not using the back injury as an excuse. I respect so much getting out there and trying to play. But you're 3 games in, and the same issues have popped up for 3 weeks. And, man, I don't know how you continue to go this path. in about 30 minutes, we are going to go sort of deep dive into whether or not the Saints should make a quarterback change. That's coming up at about 5:15 Central, so about 35 minutes from right now. And my feeling is today the same as it was last week, that if Jameis Winston's back is limiting him, then you need to play Andy Dalton. But we'll go a little deeper dive into that. Dennis Allen, again, talking with the media today, did give some updates. Can you play 6, please? Dennis Allen was on staff back in 2017, of course, when the team made the trip to London. So he kind of was asked about, what you learned from that trip that you'll carry over here.
Well, look, I think the number one thing was the importance of getting some sleep on the way over here, because the time difference, I think, is the biggest challenge in getting adjusted to that. So, I got some rest on the plane, got here and ready to go to work now.
So structuring the week the way they did, having been there, helps. Like we talked about, the big challenge is the time change, which is why you go early to adjust and be ready to play for Sunday. But in reverse, next week, that becomes a problem because you're going to have international travel and have to turn around and play right away. Here was Dennis Allen also on the benefit of spending the whole week in London.
Well, I think, number one, getting accustomed to the time. I think that's the number one benefit. Like I said earlier, I think, being in this environment with just your team, there's not a lot of distractions here. So we get to bond together as a team, and we get to really focus on football.
Several of the players reiterated that as well, that it could be a good bonding experience. There's no family. There's no everyone doesn't go their separate ways. Your road trips sometimes can be bonding. It's different when you have a whole week instead of just a couple of days when you're gone. I mean, you're all together in a different country, and you're with your team the whole time. So there is some legitimacy to that, perhaps. But the other thing, it's always interesting when you have a coach after a loss. Maybe there's just all the years sitting in press conferences listening to coaches. You sort of notice tendencies. But coaches after a loss tend to be pithy. They're short with their answers, and understandably. I mean, you work so hard. You work all week. Your whole professional life is committed to the season. It's winning. You don't win. Your plan doesn't go accordingly. I mean, how many post-game press conferences we see of Sean Payton after a loss where he was giving one-word answers and it's a 3-minute presser? I mean, it's just that's kind of how it is. So whenever you see a coach give a nearly minute-long answer to a question, it's going to be interesting to hear what he says. And this happens to be about Jameis. And it was about how Jameis looked in the offense after film review. So you saw it live. You went back and watched the film. What did you notice about the offense and about Jameis after film review?
Look, I thought he made some really good throws in the game. When you really look at it, you go back and you say, okay, well, we're taking the first drive of the game down the field. We complete a 17-yard pass down to the 19-yard line. We get an illegal chop block that gets called and puts us in what would have been 1st and 10 from the 19, goes to, I think it was 3rd and 19 from the -49. And so, and then we take the opening drive of the third quarter down the field and move it right down the field, and we just didn't quite execute as well as we needed to there in the red area. We had a couple other drives where we moved the ball effectively down the field. So there was a lot of positives that were in there, but the penalties and the turnovers are things that we have to eliminate.
He's not wrong. I mean, all that is factual. You put up over 400 yards of offense, and you had some drives at points in the game that ended because of your self-inflicted wounds, like we talked about, like he just mentioned there. But ultimately, the result is the reality. And the reality is you were scoreless for 3 quarters. You put up 14 points late in the game, and one of the touchdown passes was a plumb miracle where Marquez Callaway just made a hell of a play and snatched the ball out of a scrum. I mean, for whatever reason, if you want to blame Jameis's ability or inability, if you want to blame his back, or if you want to blame special teams gaffes or Kamara's fumble, what you're doing offensively isn't working. Your defense is good enough right now to keep you in games. Your offense isn't working, and your special teams have not been special. So how do you get those things fixed on a quick turnaround? I don't know, and I don't know if changing quarterbacks is the answer, but what you're doing isn't, clearly right now. And you got to fix it. You got to fix it in a hurry because, like we've talked about, this will spiral. You lose this week, and in Carolina or in London against Minnesota, you're on a 3-game losing streak. You come home after international travel, and you're up against it with Seattle. I mean, that becomes a season-saving potential game if you lose this week. So, whatever you can muster, however you got to do it, you got to find a way to go get this one in London this week. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Brought to you by Michele Weighing and Measurement, Michele.com, Michele.com. You got 29 offices across 11 different states. Michele's been a great sponsor on Whiskey and Wine as well. We appreciate them so much. A Louisiana-based company, 75 years in business, and they are hiring. Remember, they're an ISO 17025 accredited laboratory, and if you're looking for work, they are hiring. Go to the website, Michele.com, hit the careers tab at the top. You'll see the Apply Now button right there in the middle. You can click to apply for any of the jobs that they have open at any of their offices in Louisiana. That's New Orleans, that's Baton Rouge, that's Lake Charles. Check it out right now at Michele Weighing and Measurement. Michele.com, Michele.com. All right, it's after further review. We're not going to final break here of hour number 2. Muse will have Tigers in the pros. Coming up after the top of the hour as well, I will get into some Brian Kelly audio from today, previewing the Auburn game, bowl projections as LSU's prognosis looking better and better, and also why the LSU-Tennessee game a week from Saturday is going to be at 11 a.m. I hate it as much as you do. I loathe it as much as you do. But I do understand why the decision was made by the networks, and we'll get into some of that coming up after the top of the hour. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off MSRP on our new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Yes! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-11.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I think the first thing is that, routines will stay the same other than we're going to get on a plane. But we'll be in a stadium that will not be pro-LSU. The first month of the season, it was pro-LSU for the most part. So now the enemy is distractions. And so we'll have to do a great job of not being distracted, to be focused on making sure that our guys are locked in on what's important. And we'll work on that skill this week.
The enemy is distractions. That was the first. Hearing that from Brian Kelly today. Jordan Menser texted us. Remember, you can always text the show in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. So, Matt, have you seen ESPN's FPI? Has LSU number 7. He said, do you put any stock into this ranking? No, what I've said often about FPI is that FPI is a metric. It's not the metric. It's one of those things that when 2018, I believe FPI picked LSU 5 and 7, everybody crapped on it. This year, FPI had LSU winning 9 games, and everyone wants to laud it. It's one of those things when it works in your favor, I think you give more credence than it's worth. It's just a metric. For what it's worth, the 2 polls, a lot have asked, if LSU might be ranked soon. LSU got just 7 votes in the AP poll and 4 votes in the coaches poll. So, no, LSU's not close to being ranked. They would have to beat Auburn, and then if you beat Tennessee, you will be ranked again. But there's no significant win. Again, I don't want to overstate beating Southern, Mississippi State, and New Mexico. It's nice, but you have to beat good teams, and there will be plenty of opportunities here in October. Okay, Musso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
NFL recap for you. Busy day for the former Tigers yesterday in the National Football League. Let's start with Derek Stingley Jr. of the Houston Texans. Sting, 3 total tackles in the game, recorded a sack, his first sack of his career, and also had another hit on the quarterback in that game. For the Tennessee Titans, Christian Fulton turned in a really solid day in a winning effort. About 6 total tackles for Fulton, 2 of them coming for a loss, and did have a pass deflection in coverage. Patrick Queen for the Baltimore Ravens, a solid outing as well. 5 tackles, had him 3rd on the team for Baltimore. Had a sack as well, and a pass deflection. We know how great he can be in pass coverage there. The Cincinnati Bengals, well, they got right again against the New York Jets. Joe Burrow, a little bit more familiar stat line you're looking for with Joey B. 275 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Jamar Chase, 6 receptions for 29 yards and a touchdown. Al Woods, we've talked a lot of Al Woods in Tigers in the Pros so much this year. 3rd on the team yesterday for Seattle with 5 tackles. Did have a hit on the quarterback. That follows up an 8-tackle outing in the previous week for Al Woods there. Leonard Fournette will end with the Buccaneers. Fournette, 12 carries, 35 yards. Also added 5 receptions for 35 yards and had a tackle in the game as well. Russell Gage, 13 targets, caught 12 of them, 87 yards and a touchdown. And then finally, you have Devin White turning in 5 tackles, 3 of them solo. Tampa Bay lost to the Packers. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com. For Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge goes to get engaged and has for 40 years. Check them out online at LMFJ.com. You can shop rings by style, by setting, shape. It's all there. Beautiful clarity. Sure to make you a hero and her thrilled. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. All right, hour number 3 coming up next.
AFR.
If you are in the market for a new vehicle, if you're thinking about a new vehicle, and you have never considered Volkswagen, put South Point Volkswagen on your list. They're online at southpointvw.com. As a matter of fact, my niece, who's just started driving, is about to get her first car, wants a Volkswagen. She wants a Taos, which is the compact SUV. And I tell you often, if maybe you're a parent and your children are just becoming of driving age, Volkswagen is a tremendous option because it's stylish, which your child is sure to love, fun to drive. It's affordable, which you're sure to love, but it's also safe. 9 different IIHS top safety picks. When you talk about some of the safest vehicles on the road, you're talking about Volkswagen. Test drive one today. Airline just north of Highland or online at southpointvw.com.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Brown Star defensive end Myles Garrett was involved in a one-car accident today. He crashed his vehicle, which went off the road and flipped several times before coming to a rest. Garrett suffered non-life-threatening injuries, was taken to a local hospital. Neither drugs nor alcohol was involved. The Eagles have joined the Buccaneers as the co-favorites to win the NFC, plus 650 at Caesars Sportsbook. Philly and Tampa also tied with the third shortest odds to win the Super Bowl, behind Buffalo and Kansas City. Despite the loss to the Dolphins, the Bills still tops in the league, believes ESPN's Rex Ryan.
The Buffalo Bills are clearly the best team, and not only in the East, but in the entire league. Look, this team got destroyed in the game everywhere but the scoreboard.
Right.
And when I look at this, they had 200 yards of total offense.
Miami did.
Miami did.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, with 6 starters out on the Buffalo Bills defense.
Cowboys receiver Michael Gallup will be inactive against the Giants on Monday Night Football, 8:15 Eastern, ABC, ESPN TV, and ESPN2. His return from a torn ACL will wait one more week.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote Renter's Insurance at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Dennis Allen was asked point blank if he's considering a quarterback change from Jameis Winston. He said no. We're going to talk about that in about 15 minutes from right now. Our college football Week 4 takeaways are coming up at the bottom of this hour. Otter Locks, a pick on Monday Night Football. We got a lot to do, and glad to have you aboard with us here. Today, so LSU won this weekend 3 in a row. They beat New Mexico 38-0. We know that. And LSU's getting ready to take on Auburn Saturday at Jordan-Hare Stadium. But as is customary, the SEC on Monday announces the television schedule for the following week's games. And so we found out today that LSU is going to play Tennessee at 11 a.m. Central Time on ESPN. Yes, LSU and Tennessee is slated for a morning kickoff in Tiger Stadium. That sucks. There's no way around it. And very candidly, from a personal standpoint, professionally, a morning kickoff is great for us. The kickoff at 11, game's done by 2:30. T-Bob and I will do whiskey and wine. We're done by 4. I have the whole rest of my Saturday. I can take my wife out to dinner. I can play with my kid. I can relax, take a nap. It's great. And I'm telling you, I hate it for this. It is so rare now, just considering what college football is, everything you've heard a million times. Stadiums are too big. The home viewing experience is too good. The traffic stinks. Concessions. Why pay to sit in a little bitty seat and be uncomfortable? I get all of it. You're right. All of it. I get it. But there's maybe 1 or 2 times a year where you have an opportunity for a moment. You know what I mean? Like a scene. Bama has the opportunity to be that this year. But that's going to be a 2:30 game. Just prepare yourself. That's going to be 2:30 in Tiger Stadium. The LSU-Alabama game is going to be 2:30 on CBS. Ole Miss It's likely going to be look at the SEC slate that day. The Ole Miss game is likely going to be 2:30. There's nothing else on the schedule that day except maybe Bama, Mississippi State. So you're going to have some more day games coming. It's just rare that you have an opportunity like LSU Florida 2019. Just pandemonium at night in Tiger Stadium, where Tiger Stadium feels like the reputation Tiger Stadium has rightly earned over the years. That wasn't Tiger Stadium against New Mexico. That wasn't Tiger Stadium against Southern. It's not going to be Tiger Stadium against UAB. It's just rare that you get that anymore. Tennessee coming in, having not been in Baton Rouge since 2010, 12 years apart. Tennessee being ranked in the top 10. I mean, that had the possibility of kind of, like, if you want me to draw a parallel, kind of like Nick Saban's first year in Baton Rouge. I mean, unfortunately, LSU lost to UAB, but the next week they took on Tennessee when Tennessee was still at their pinnacle. They were still an elite program. I think Tennessee was maybe just outside the top 10 in that game when LSU played them in 2000. Game went to overtime, and LSU knocked off Tennessee in a crazed scene in Tiger Stadium. It was awesome. You had the opportunity for that. And look, Tennessee's off this week. So Tennessee has their open date, so they got a week to heal, get ready for LSU. And so they'll come in ranked in the top 10. And if LSU beats Auburn, I don't think they'll be ranked, but you're going to have a team that's won 4 in a row, and you'll have a scene. It's not to say you can't have a great atmosphere during the day. LSU Georgia 2003 remains one of the greatest environments I've ever seen for any college football game ever. And it was similar. You had an ascending LSU team. Georgia was in the top 10. It was like, here's your opportunity to prove it, LSU. And it was a magnificent day in Tiger Stadium. Skylar Green's catch. It was chaos. It was awesome. It was everything that anyone who's ever heard tales of Tiger Stadium would believe. So last year against Florida, you had an LSU team that had fired its coach. It fired its coach. Well, they actually, no, let me take that back. They fired the coach the next day. But they had just gotten their behinds kicked at Kentucky, and everybody knew it was over. And you didn't have a packed out Tiger Stadium at 11 a.m., but you had a great atmosphere. So you can have it. But it's not going to be what it would be if that were a night game. So why is LSU Tennessee going to be at 11 a.m.? The way the conference television contracts work, CBS gets the first choice, and they get a day-night doubleheader one time a year, the 7 o'clock and 2:30 day-night doubleheader. In years past, that's been LSU-Bama for a lot of years. CBS has to determine before the season what weekend it wants to designate for its day-night doubleheader. So before the season, they looked at this and went, okay, Bama, A&M, for obvious reasons. A&M beat Bama last year, the Jimbo Nick stuff, get it. So they said, all right, that's going to be our night game. So the only question was what was going to be the 2:30 game, because they got to pick first and second. So they're choosing between Georgia, Auburn, the Deep South's oldest rivalry, and LSU, Tennessee. The rest of the slate is Ole Miss, Vandy, South Carolina, Kentucky, Missouri, Florida, Arkansas against Mississippi State. So there are games that stand out, obviously. I'm told that the SEC and LSU pushed CBS to take LSU, Tennessee at 2:30. They did not. They decided to take, of course, A&M, Bama at 7 o'clock, and then Auburn, Georgia at 2:30. And you may wonder why, because I know what you're going to say. Auburn's going to be a 3-touchdown underdog, and Georgia's going to pummel them and all that stuff. And you're right. You're 100% right. LSU, Tennessee has the promise of being a better game than Auburn, Georgia. But CBS doesn't care about what's going to be the better game. CBS cares about what's going to bring the most eyeballs, and what brings the most eyeballs is a brand. That is why, forever and ever, Bama's always on CBS. When you're number one in the country, it doesn't matter if you're playing Mississippi State or Vanderbilt or Arkansas. CBS is going to look at the brand and put it on. That Georgia is the defending national champion. Georgia is the number one team in the country. There are going to be people who are interested because it's Georgia and Auburn. It's just the nature. And you can say, well, they wouldn't be interested in LSU and Tennessee. Sure, they would, and that's not to say they wouldn't. But Georgia, Auburn, with Georgia being number one in the country, defending national champion, is going to be more appealing to a national audience. Not you and me that know the SEC. We're talking about a national audience. Look, go back to 2011 when LSU was number one in the country for the bulk of the season. LSU played every damn game during the day that year because they just kept ending up on CBS because they were LSU. I mean, sometimes it goes that way. They know what brands sell. Let me illustrate this in reverse. This week, what's a better game this week? Number 7 Kentucky at number 14 Ole Miss or LSU at Auburn? Unranked teams and one probably about to fire its coach. What's the better game? Kentucky Ole Miss or LSU Auburn? We all know the answer. Kentucky's number 7 in the country. Ole Miss is number 14. They're undefeated. You have 2 undefeated teams. That's the better game. Why is LSU Auburn prime time on ESPN and Kentucky Ole Miss is at 11 a.m.? Because it's LSU and Auburn. That's why. You have 2 brands that on Saturday night when people are flipping channels or looking what game to stream, they're going to go, oh, LSU, Auburn. They're going to think Joe Burrow, Cam Newton, Jamar Chase, Nick Farrell. You get it. It's LSU and Auburn. It's bigger. You have 2 bigger brands, which is what the networks care about. What's going to bring the most eyeballs? So you look ahead, and it makes sense. You're going to get Georgia, the number 1 team in the country, the defending national champion, at 2:30 on CBS. And ESPN, this was the one option that could have put this game at night. This is the one thing ESPN could have done. ESPN could have passed on LSU-Tennessee because ESPN cannot put a primetime game on opposite CBS when they have the primetime window. So it was not a possibility to put LSU-Tennessee on ESPN in primetime opposite the CBS night game. But the SEC network has a primetime window. Paulie, pull that schedule up again if you would. So I'll remind you, last year's day-night doubleheader when A&M played Bama, that was the night LSU played Kentucky and Lexington. It was a night game, but it was on the SEC network. South Carolina, Kentucky is the night game on SEC network a week from Saturday. So after CBS picked Bama A&M and then Auburn, Georgia for 2:30, the option for ESPN, if they wanted to do LSU a favor, is they could have passed on LSU, Tennessee, and maybe taken Arkansas, Mississippi State, or South Carolina, Kentucky, putting that at 11 a.m. on ESPN, and then LSU, Tennessee could have gone to the night window on SEC Network. But what happens, what show ends at 11 a.m. on ESPN? It's College Game Day. So you're always going to have a massive audience on the College Game Day's biggest audience every week. Like its peak audience is always going to be right at 11 o'clock Central when Corso does his headgear pick. Everybody wants to see the pick'em segment, the guest picker, picking all the games, Corso's headgear. That's when your audience is at its peak. So if you're ESPN, you're thinking, okay, we're going to dovetail from Corso's headgear into Arkansas, Mississippi State, or LSU, Tennessee. Top 10 Tennessee in Baton Rouge against LSU Tiger Stadium. That's going to draw a national audience. Again, it sucks. I hate it. But I get why they did what they did. If they were doing LSU a favor, ESPN would have passed and let the SEC Network televise LSU, Tennessee at 6:30 p.m. in Tiger Stadium, and that would have been a madhouse. It would have been awesome. But they didn't. They looked out for themselves and their ratings and their advertisers, and part of me gets it. And yes, it sucks miserably. I'm not defending it. Please don't misunderstand me. I hate it. But I'm just explaining why it happened the way it did, that LSU's going to play Tennessee at 11 a.m. People hate it, rightfully, but it's going to happen. So Get your rest on Friday. Get up early Saturday. Pop that first hop early. Be ready to roll 11 a.m. when they tee it up and kick it off with LSU and Tennessee, because that is going to be a massive opportunity for this LSU program, with Tennessee coming in a week from Saturday at 11 a.m. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. I got a quick break, and we'll talk Saints. Jameis Winston. Looks like Dennis Allen not making a change. Should he? We'll talk about it next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers. Nicholson, just south campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Yes, Pluckers is open at 11 a.m., so when LSU takes on Tennessee, doors will be open if you want to go watch it at Pluckers. But tonight and every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. So get by either Pluckers location. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Monday Night Football tonight, the Dallas Cowboys, the G-Men. Cowboys, Giants from the Meadowlands. If you need a place to watch, get by Pluckers. Either location, Nicholson or Bluebonnet. Watch Monday Night Football or whatever Major League Baseball game that you want to watch tonight, or both or all. And remember, Monday is all-you-can-eat wings, so eat as many wings as you want for one low price every Monday at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine-in, carry-out, or delivery trivia every Wednesday at both Pluckers locations, or if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar.
after further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Got over here this morning so we could get a good week of work, focus in on what we have to do to improve, focus in on what we have to do to get ourselves ready to win a game on Sunday. And so we've got a lot of areas that we've got to improve on, offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game. And we got to work hard to get those things corrected and fixed before we get to Sunday.
Saints coach Dennis Allen, when he met with the media on Monday in London, the Saints lost to Carolina, jumped on a bird, flew over the pond, landed in London, and they had some media availability with the reporters assembled there today. That was this morning here, local time, in Central Time Zone, but clearly afternoon there in London, where they're at 6 or 7 hours ahead. I'll actually need to check to see exactly what time it is. Hey, wait, hang on. Let me ask. Hey, Siri, what time is it in London? She'll know.
It's 11:20 p.m. in London, England.
Okay, so they're 6 hours ahead there in London. Good to know. So it was afternoon in London when they had their media availability, but morning, so it's 11:20 p.m. there. So clearly they've got to get their body clocks on time there. They also got to get their quarterback on time and their offense running on time. It's the question everybody's asked. I could look at my text line. I could look at my Twitter. I could look at every way that you all reach out, and we've all had the same conversation, the same thought. Why not play Andy Dalton? It's a fair question to ask, and y'all know there is few people, except maybe the guy who goes by Jameis 1 of 1, who are more bullish on Jameis than me. I wanted the Saints to sign him when Tampa cut him. I was very good with them giving him a contract this year and letting him run it back for a couple seasons to see if he could be the guy you trust for the next 5-6 years. Saw a lot of parallels to when the Saints brought Drew Brees here. All the things we talked about. Physical talent, maturity, which has grown as a husband and a father as he's gone on in life, as a leader. Tremendous humility to sit and wait and watch, to learn and improve, all that stuff. But you got to go deliver. There's been few people more bullish than me about Jameis. And I'm not saying you punt on him. I'm not saying that this is a large enough sample size to say you're done with Jameis forever. What I'm saying is that dude has a broken back. His back is broke, y'all. Is broke. And I don't know. I mean, you heard Jameis on the Fox broadcast. The sideline reporter was explaining how his psoas muscle hurts every time he steps on his back foot. Yo, I wouldn't want to walk. I wouldn't want to sit. I wouldn't want to drive. I wouldn't want to do nothing if I had a broke back like he does. And he's out there playing an NFL game. Did you watch the game, the extra padding they had around him? He looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I mean, what? You cannot possibly convince me that this injury is not affecting him. I don't know there's a way that I could be convinced of that. It's not saying that he can't play through it, that he can't be effective. It's not to say any of that stuff, but it just has to be affecting him in some ways. The accuracy is not there when at times we've seen it there. Some of the decisions, I certainly think it affects his decision whether he's going to tuck the ball and run in times or if he's throwing the ball away. I respect so much going and getting it, but man, if you're limited, I mean, I feel like I'm repeating the same thing I said last week. If Jameis isn't going to make that decision, to tap himself out, then someone's got to protect himself from himself. But Dennis Allen doesn't seem like he's going to be that guy. After the game, Dennis Allen was asked, "Are you considering a quarterback change?"
I think this. I think all the elements around him have to play better, and so I think, again, like everybody's looking for a place to go to look to place blame, but I think we got to play better as a football team in all areas, and not look to individuals really.
And still came back later in the press conference post game, asked about sitting Jameis or making a move.
No. Look, we all have to play better, and so I'm not looking to single anything out. Obviously, we got to make some corrections, and we got to do a better job as a group.
There are coexisting realities here. And to be clear, so don't bury this any further, yes, I think they should play Andy Dalton on Sunday. I do. I think they should. I thought they should have played Andy Dalton against Carolina. But I'm a dude sitting here with a microphone in Baton Rouge, not at practice every day, not talking to doctors, just seeing what I've seen. And there's a large enough sample size to suggest one of two things is the reality. Either his back is affecting him, and as a result, the offense isn't effective. Or, number two, his back is fine, but he's just ineffective. But either way, right now, your offense stinks. Outside of one quarter in Atlanta, that fourth quarter, when you had to go. Other than that, your offense stinks. In this season, you have scored 51 total points. 38 of them have come in the fourth quarter, which means in 3 games, you have scored a total. In 3 games, you have scored a total of 13 points outside of the fourth quarter. Y'all, that ain't going to get it done. Your garbage time yardage, tempo yardage, points, playing catch up, that ain't sustainable. It's why you're 1-2. Now, it's not all Jameis's fault. To that point, Dennis Allen is right. Jameis Winston didn't fumble yesterday, leading to a scoop and score. Alvin Kamara did. That's 7 points right there. Jameis Winston didn't miss a field goal. Will Lutz did. Jameis Winston didn't get a field goal blocked. Your field goal unit did. I'd even take it. I mean, right there is 13 points. That 13-point swing is the game. It's why when I sat here after the Saints beat the Falcons and I said, never apologize for how you win a game because it is too damn hard to win in the NFL. However it comes, the margin is so small, you never apologize for how you win in the NFL. Look at Denver yesterday. Denver and the Niners was one of the most disgusting games I've ever seen in my life. Jimmy Garoppolo had to make one of the stupidest plays ever by an NFL quarterback running out of the back of the end zone for Denver to beat the 49ers. It is hard to win in the NFL. Carolina had won a game in 9 tries. Their losing streak at the end of last season, the first 2 games of this year. You think Carolina is thinking, yeah, well, it sure was nice to win, but, man, needed that scoop and square fumble by Kamara, a doink, blocked field goal, a missed field goal by Lutz. I guess it's nice to win, but no! You win. It's hard to win. So, you never apologize for how you win, but the margin is so small. So you think about those few plays. A doinked field goal or a missed field goal, a blocked field goal, a fumble, scoop and score. It's a 13-point swing. That's your ball game. You lost by 8. I mean, the reverse, you win by 5. You cover. I mean, if you don't give the fumble for the scoop and score and then the 2, botches on the field goal, go to the first possession, the Saints' first possession of the ball game. You're moving the football. You get a 17-yard completion over the middle to Michael Thomas down to the Carolina 19-yard line. They call a chop block on Mark Ingram, brings it back, drive stalls, you punt. You're at the 19. You're about to get points on your opening drive of the ball game. This team right now has too many self-inflicted wounds. Jameis Winston is part of your problem right now. It's undeniable. But he's not your only problem. And he's not the only reason you lost the game on Sunday. But with that said, you cannot sustain this right here, where you go 3 quarters without scoring and then you're in overdrive trying to put up yards and points. And we've got a 3-game sample right now that suggests either his back is limiting him or he's just not the guy. One of those 2 things is part of your reality. And it's also the reason why you signed Andy Dalton. Y'all, we've seen this now for 3 straight years. Go back to 2018. You go back to when Drew Brees banged his thumb on Aaron Donald's helmet and missed the chunk of the season, and Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0. I mean, that was 2019, excuse me. We're seeing this now every year. It's why you had Teddy Bridgewater. Then it was Taysom Hill who filled in the COVID year in 2020. Last year, you saw it again with Simeon and Hill. Y'all, You've had to have, with Jameis tore his ACL, you've had to do this now 3 years in a row. Now it's 4 years in a row where you've seen your starting quarterback get injured. It's why you signed Andy Dalton. It's why you signed Jameis Winston. It's why you had Teddy Bridgewater to prepare for this possibility. Well, the possibility is here again. It's now your reality. Take advantage of it. You plan for this accordingly. The dude started over 100 games in his career. Give Jameis time to get right. I'm not saying punt on Jameis. I'm saying give him time to go get healthy and play the healthy guy that's been a more than capable starting quarterback, who's been a playoff caliber starting quarterback in his career, and say, go guide my offense. Get the ball to my playmakers. Let's go beat Minnesota, come home, beat Seattle, get Jameis healthy, get the train back on the tracks, get this thing going in the right direction. It doesn't sound like Dennis Allen is going to do that. And yeah, he's got more information than you and me and all of us on what's going on in that locker room with these guys and their health. But for the sake of this season and his job in New Orleans, he better be right. Because if you continue to run out an injured quarterback who's limiting your offense and you keep losing games as a result of it, ultimately coaches are hired in the NFL to be fired. We saw 15 years of Sean Payton because, and he was awesome, but it's the greatest run we've ever seen in the history of this franchise. That ain't the norm. Our reality has been a little convoluted because of the run we just saw with Peyton and Breeze. That ain't the norm in the NFL, and we're getting a taste of it right now. All right, it's after further review. Brought to you by DraftKings. You want to bet on tonight's Monday Night Football game? You can. Dallas and the Giants. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Remember, new customers bet just $5 on any football game. If your team wins, they'll give you $200 in free bets if they do. That's at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Again, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and be sure to use the promo code Baton Rouge. One word, Baton Rouge. That promo code is how they know we sent you. That's also how you unlock that great promotion from DraftKings. Y'all, it's just more fun to watch games when you got a little something riding on it. We'll have Otter Locks coming up in about 15 minutes. Jimmy will give you a pick on the ball game if you want to play it. Play it at DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge at DraftKings. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. One boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. Parlay and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem. Call 1-877-770-STOP. All right, y'all. We started this last week. Our college football takeaways. Muse, Paulie, and I will give you our 3 biggest takeaways from the college football weekend that is coming up. Otter Locks in about 15 minutes from right now. Great day, and we're glad to have you aboard with us on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. For the Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. What that means for you is your physician here in Baton Rouge has clinical collaboration with the experts at the Mayo Clinic at no extra cost to you. That's the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. If you want to learn more, you want to find out more about the locations, you can certainly do that at the website. Go to brgeneral.org. The Mid-City location, the Bluebonnet campus, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, all of the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations. Y'all, that's walk-in urgent care 7 days a week at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. If it's cancer treatment, the Pennington Cancer Center. If it's the Regional Burn Center, that's the Mid-City location. If you need their Heart and Vascular Center, emergency care, you can even deliver your baby at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Learn more online at brgeneral.org.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I roll along. Get to Otter Locks a little more than 10 minutes from right now. Right now, let's do it. We'll go around the room with our biggest college football weekend takeaways.
Another week in the books. What did we learn about the landscape of college football?
That's a good question, Chris Elliott. What did we learn? Muse, what did you learn in this landscape of college football?
What's good? I think I learned that Washington's a dark horse for the Pac-12 this year. Obviously, Kalen DeBoer's first year there in Seattle, but Michael Penix Jr. has been fantastic. You look at the schedule, they're off to a 4-0 start. They dodged both Utah and USC. They do have to face Oregon, but that's really the one you circle left on their schedule. I mean, what they did to Michigan State was impressive. Now, you look at the week after that, Stanford, they're not very good. Potential letdown spot coming off the big win at home. No, they dominated. Stanford hung 40 again. When it going away was never really in doubt. Keep an eye on the Huskies, man. Dark horse for the Pac-12.
Okay, Paulie.
I learned that Kansas State is Oklahoma's kryptonite.
Why you learned that on Saturday? Would you don't listen to the show that you sit here and video produce every day?
When? Saturday?
I don't know. I just said that all last week. Whatever, Paulie.
Oh, no, I don't listen.
Pretty obvious.
Kansas State has won 3 of the last 4 matchups.
Oh, something that we talked about last week on the show.
I must not have been listening.
Yeah, no kidding. Apparently.
Quarterback Adrian Martinez.
Tell me something else, Paulie, that I told you last week on the show. Please, tell me more.
Let's see what else I got here.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian Martinez rushed for 148 yards, 4 touchdowns, along with 55 to seal the game.
Thanks, Paulie, for letting me know that.
Gotcha.
Hey, don't forget about the other 4-0 teams. Row the boat, PJ Fleck, 4-0.
They are.
Florida State's 4-0. And this might have been their most impressive week yet. UCLA. I mean, nobody knows it because they got 8 people at their game, but UCLA, Chip Kelly.
They'll face Washington.
4-0. I'm looking forward to that one very much. Syracuse. They escaped on Friday night. Dino Babers up there, but they're 4-0. And Coastal Carolina 4-0 as well. I mean, you know all the ranked teams that are 4-0, but don't forget about these other 4-0 teams that are just creeping around out there waiting to make their move.
Man, the Big 12 was a lot of fun this weekend. And Paulie mentioned the upset of with Kansas State over OU.
I'm glad Paulie mentioned that because I would have never suspected or learned anything about it.
Meanwhile, Kansas, they're 4-0, Matt. You left out the Jayhawks, by the way, and you're 4-0s. Kansas wins a thriller over Duke. Texas goes into Lubbock and gets upset. The Big 12.
Hey. Why do you think I left Kansas out?
I don't know. Because are you like everyone else? You hating on the Jayhawks?
Because we texted our takeaways and you said Kansas.
We did. Because
I'm
I
being
like
a good
Kansas.
teammate.
I'm fully bought in on the Jayhawks.
I'm being a good teammate.
Fully bought in on the Jayhawks, by the way.
I was giving you your moment.
The Big 12. A lot of fun.
Paulie does not get his moment.
A lot of fun, the Big 12.
Paulie said something as his takeaway, which was a key talking point all last week on the show. All right, what else you got, Paulie?
Miami is in free fall. They lost to Middle Tennessee, 45-31.
I didn't pick that game.
Did you know Middle Tennessee is 3-0 all time against Miami?
Oh, good stat. Why do they keep scheduling Middle Tennessee?
Not do that anymore.
That's like Virginia Tech with Old Dominion. Stop.
We'll hit them again next year.
Stop. I think they got like a 10-year contract with them.
They do.
The other games happened in like the 30s, but
so that's a
still counts.
Good stat. Paul. That's a good. You have made up for your transgressions almost.
Yes. Go and totally redeem yourself.
The Arkin frauds. The Arkin frauds. Don't disappoint. I tell you what, Muse. You just let those Arkin frauds beat up on a bunch of nobodies. They climb up into the top 10, and right when they're faced with it, bam! I got an idea. Let's stretch a ball out right when we're about to go up 2 touchdowns before half. Our Heisman candidate quarterback.
That's true, Tim.
You see, your boy from A&M pulled an Ed Reed against Boston College from 0-1 where he just ripped it away from his teammate and housed it. And then you doink one off the top of the upright. Arkin frauds. Be what you are, Arkin frauds. Next.
Mario Cristobal is who he is. And that is a guy who's going to recruit some pretty good talent, win you a lot of games, and then his teams will fold. Because
he's not a good coach.
That's what they did at Oregon.
Yeah.
That's what they'll do at Miami. Get used to it. How many times did we see the Oregon Ducks in the thick of the playoff race, and then come November, oops,
I don't know how many
another
times.
loss? At least 4 different times.
All with Cristobal?
All with Mario
I don't know about
Cristobal.
that.
Is at least 4 different times.
How many years was he at Oregon?
He was there 5 years.
Let's see.
The same thing's going to happen to Miami. It already happened against Middle Tennessee State. It will happen going forward in his tenure there. He's not the coach that you think he is.
All I know about Mario Cristobal is that he was awful at FIU.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he got the Oregon job to begin with. But he's a hell of a recruiter. That much is true. Paulie, tell me something else that I told you last week. Oh, I can't use that because you did good last time. Sorry.
This is basically going to be a kick rock. Storming the field is stupid.
Yes.
Did you see the video of the Texas Tech fan shoving the Texas player?
Didn't shove him. Like, nailed him in the back. Yeah, it's terrible.
Not cool.
Bro.
Grew up Texas Tech fans.
Boom. And it's like this short, little, nerdy, chubby guy, too. Shoving a big football. Is that number? See, catch that number from Texas. Is that 19? 18? Check Texas's roster. See, who's number 18 on the Texas roster? I'm aching now to know who that was. But yes, I agree with you. Oh, you want to hit the bullets? All right, I'm ready to declare it. Southern Cal is going to the college football playoff this year. They play Utah on October 15th. They're going to win in Salt Lake City, and they're going to go undefeated and make the playoff, where they will promptly be absolutely mauled by either Georgia or Alabama. But, Paul, like last week when I talked about how Kansas State had more success against Oklahoma than anyone other than Texas, I also mentioned that Oregon State was the same for USC. Talked about it a lot last week, Paul. And by the way, I don't know if you saw the game, Paul. I don't know if you saw the game.
I did not.
But boy, oh boy, Oregon State They put a scare in those Trojans, but USC took a late lead, got a late pick to seal it. They won 17-14. That was going to be their biggest challenge. Outside that game in Salt Lake, they're going to be up for it. They're going to beat Utah in Salt Lake. USC, year one under Lincoln Riley, is going to go to the playoff. Do we have number 18?
Well, there's two. There's two number 18s. Either one of them's a wide receiver. I'm sorry, yes, one of them is a wide receiver, Isaiah Nayor. The other one is an edge rusher, OV. I'm not even going to attempt that. Either way, both of them are 6'3" and over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Both of them are huge.
I hope whichever one it was got up and just beat the ever-living hell out of that nerd who ran him over. All right, there you have it. Those are college football takeaways for week 4 of the college football season. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. That's 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Of course, eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. You have your eye exam there, your family eye exams. If you want to buy glasses or contacts, you can at the Williamson Eye Center at their optical shop. And, of course, eye surgery, no matter your age or your refractive issue. If you're nearsighted, if you're farsighted. Maybe you had LASIK years ago. PRK could be a great option for you now. My dad had RK back in the early 90s. He had the lens replacement, now seeing better than he ever has without contacts or glasses, even at almost 70 years old. Called 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. All right, y'all. Been a really good show. We appreciate you for being here with us. We recapped the LSU and Saints games from the weekend as we started hour 1. We appreciate the Cole Cubelic for being here with us in hour 2. Brian Kelly, some injury updates. We talked about Jameis in the last segment. LSU playing Tennessee at 11 a.m. If you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Catch the podcast, or, of course, if you're watching on YouTube, you can always watch all of our shows live on YouTube. Please subscribe to the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel and smash that like button. We appreciate it very much. All right, we'll knock out our final break of the show. A little Otter Locks. Who's Otter got on Monday Night Football? We'll find out next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, and it is officially fall. We are actually even going to get some fall temperatures this week. We'll have some lows in the 50s later this week. Fired up for it. Of course, you can decorate for fall over at Clegg's right now with all of the fall decor that we talk about. But it's also time. Get outside and plant something. Get in the dirt. Get dirty. Play in the dirt. Get your hands dirty. Get in those flower beds. Get the gardens cleaned up. Pull the weeds. Put out some fresh mulch. It's a great time to do it. Clegg's has all the products that you need. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. You want to plant the fall garden of the fruit trees? Great time to do it. Buy local, shop local, any of the 4 locations. Segan Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Fall flowers are coming in. If you're a hunter, they got buck busters and mow bucks, deer, feed deer, corn, rice bran. They got it all. One place at Clegg's Nursery.
I've got that blue sky. I've got that sunshine.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR. Presented by Relief Windows, Windows, door, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Yacht Father himself, Jimmy Yacht. Otter, how are you?
Doing good, man. You know, everything's the same. You know, things are going well. Like, you know, spun our wheels a little bit this weekend with our picks, a little bit over 500, but you know, not bad. Hanny had a 4-1 Friday.
How about
that
it,
was
Hanny?
good.
Attaboy,
That was
Hanny.
good. And we followed up that monster 14-0 Sunday with a 7-6 Sunday. So didn't you know, just kind of, that's okay. Didn't give it all back. You know, and so tonight, Matt, I've got to be honest. You know, late night in Natchez. You know, that's kind of an oxymoron, huh? Late night in Natchez. So they, I just threw in a little Yankees, a little Denver, a little under, and Giant 4-teamer. So that's where I'm going with tonight. And obviously, if I liked them last night enough, so I like them tonight. Not my favorite game, but even money. You got split action a lot of places, and Bet Rivers is basically 50-50 both ways. A little bit more money line action. It's a 1-point spread for some reason on Dallas. But you know, can Cooper Rush do it a couple of weeks in a row? We'll see. But I could see this going either way. The over-unders, one game this week, including Thursday night, the NFL, one game better than 500 on the unders. The only difference with the over-unders are the ones that are going over are barely going over, and the ones that are going under have room to spare.
Okay.
So if you're looking to you know, put the tie in the total as well. So Aaron Judge is plus $2 to be a hitter's home run tonight.
Okay.
Kevin Gausman starting for the Toronto Blue Jays. So. You know, I'm going with the G-Men. G-Men, not my favorite game, but I'm on the Giants.
All right, are you going to – I mean, I'm looking at Giants -1. So is it worth it to lay the point, or should you just go money line?
I just – what's the money line? You know, those are good always to – -115?
Yeah.
Just lay 115 then, yeah, for 5 cents. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Giants on the money line, not the Otters' favorite play. Maybe a little prop bet on Judge to hit a homer tonight. Did you say you like the Yankees too?
No, I like Toronto.
Okay, you like Toronto.
I like Toronto. Clear pitching edge with Gausman against Severino. Gausman had a couple of rough starts 2 and 3 starts ago, but he came back with a a really good performance against a good hitting team in Philadelphia last time out. So he's had a great season this year. He had a couple of, hit those bumps in the road, 2 and 3 starts back, but clear pitching edge. He's had a much better year. And Severino, he just had his first start back since July last time. It pitched okay. That was that one where our boy Contreras gave up the Grand Slam in the first inning, and it was lights out last Wednesday. So,
all right.
I do like Contreras tonight. I like actually a little Contreras and Toronto parlay that plays over 2-1 tonight in MLB. Hey, hook them all 3 up. Put the Giants in there too. Let's hit them all.
All right, let's have a big night. All right, Otter, Spoken Hub tonight.
Spoken Hub, baby, right down the street on Government Street. Yes,
all
indeed.
Right. Y'all get by, see the Otter tonight. If you can't get by, listen on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge or Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Thank you, Otter.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, man. Have a great night. Love telling you about Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Can always give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection. Get to the homepage of the website. Not too late to file your IDA claim. So get to HudcoRoofing.com, HudcoRoofing.com. Commercial or residential, we'd love to help you out. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Buse, Paulie, appreciate you. Have a great night. See you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about Mold Zero USA. That's mold-0usa.com. As a matter of fact, I was at Aesthetic on Friday, and one of the ladies that works there said, my husband told me to ask you, what's the name of the mold place, something like that eliminates mold? Mold Zero. Oh, by the way, thanks to everybody for listening. Mold-0usa.com. They're a great business. If you have a mold issue or odors, I know Terrio shared the story. One of the rent houses he has, it's a rental property, was having a bad odor. Called Jim, the guys over at Mold Zero. They came in, they sprayed this non-toxic, patented dry fog, and eliminated the odor. If you're dealing with odor, mold, dozens of other pathogens as well, Mold Zero could be the answer. Mold-0usa.com. Servicing the entire greater Baton Rouge and greater New Orleans areas. You're talking minimally invasive. It's Mold Zero USA.
Come on over to Corval Toyota in Opelousas and meet with one of our sales specialists to build your new Toyota. It's easy and stress-free. Or if you're looking for a pre-owned, we have a wide variety. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in